We'll chant Om 3 times, followed by the invocation shlokas. Please sit erect, close your eyes, inhale deeply. Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Good evening, everyone. We have a fractured mandate today, but welcome. As we are covering the Gita chapter 2, the thought flow was based on this, right? So there is a once Bhagwan Krishna started talking, he's talking about two things continually, right? The two things that he was talking about was one is what you call as Deha, other is Dehinaha, meaning one is about the bodies and the other is about the self. Okay, so that's where, like, actually in shloka from shloka number 11, he starts differentiating between the self and the bodies. So that that is something that we have seen. Now, so in the last shloka that we covered, so Bhagwan Krishna was talking about Nasate. The shloka that we covered was Avinashit Tadvidhi Yena Sarvamidam Tatam Vinasham Avyayasya Na Kaschit Kartumarhati. That's what it said, right? So this self is Avinashi, and then we also talked about, like, what does Nasha means, how a destruction can happen. We talked about 6 types of destructions: destruction on its own, destruction by something acting on it, and destruction by the substratum, destruction by association, destruction of the cause, destruction of the effect, and all of those. And none of those are possible to Brahman because there is no other thing. So because of that, like, most of other destructions are not possible, like destruction by others or destruction by the substratum, because Brahman itself is substratum for everything else, right? Then we are going to look at the next shloka, which says, this is shloka number, one second, let me check what is shloka number. It is shloka number 18. We will chant today, okay, and go from there. If someone wants to repeat after me, that would be great. Any volunteer?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, so we are going to chant 18th verse. Antavanta ime deha
Antavanta ime deha
Nityasyokta sharirinaha
nityashoktaha sharirinaha
Anashino apremeyasya
anashinaya prameyasya
Tasmad yudhyasva bharata.
asmat yudhyasya bharata.
So here, Lord Krishna again is addressing Arjuna, right? So he called, like the last word, if you see, Bharata. Bharata means the descendants of Bharatavarsha, or the that Indian continent, was called Bharata. So his forefathers were one of the Bharatam, uh, uh, King Bharata was his ancestor. So anyone in the dynasty is Bharata. So here he says, if you look at first three words, Antavanta ime deha, meaning the way, because they are put it in poetic order, the prose order would be ime deha antavantaha. Now, interestingly, ime meaning these, dehaha means bodies. So dehaha means bodies, okay, plural. Now, why the plural is important is that then it says Nityasyoktaha Sharirinaha, the fifth word. Sharirinaha meaning the Shariran, meaning like the one who is wearing the Sharira, meaning here that is referring to Brahman or the self. There it is used as a singular. So idea is there are a lot of bodies, but one self. So that means that myself is not different from yourself, is different, not different from Sharda's self, from Atulji's self, etc. There's only one self in all. That is the primary thing that he is noting. Okay, by using this plural versus singular. Okay, now these ime dehaha, meaning all these bodies. Okay, so there are like 1.8 million bodies that are there in there. Okay, they all have an end. Antavantaha means they all have an end. Okay. However, nityasya uktaha sharirinaha, meaning while all these bodies have the end, this sharirina is the self, is nitya. Okay, so that now, and then there are also in the second line there are also other words are used. Anashinaha, aprameyaha, okay, nityasya. So all aprameya, right? So this aprameya, anashina, nitya, what do they mean? Now let us take a look at one. Each of them are adjectives for sharirina. Sharirina meaning self. Okay, so these are the adjectives for the self. Now first adjective that was used is aprameya. Now a simplified meaning is that prameya is measurable or knowable. Okay, so whatever is aprameya means obviously the opposite of that. Okay, so which is immeasurable or unknowable. Now, how do we? So there in a Sanskritam, there are three words that goes like this: pramana, prameya, pramata. Okay, so these three are combination. So let's see pramata. Pramata means the knower or experiencer is called pramata. Okay, the object that is to be known is called as prameya, and the means by which the object is known is called pramana. Okay, so there is a knower, there is a known, and there is a means of knowing. These are the three things that they go together. So for example, if I say I see you, in a simplified way, right? If I say I see you, I am the knower, you are the known, and then seeing is the means by which I have known you. Okay, so that is the idea. Now, These pramanas, so this pramana, like, so we want, because self is said that, oh, you cannot know self. Okay. You cannot know Brahman. What does that mean? Okay. Aprameya means you cannot know Brahman. Why is that? So in our Indian system, we have 6 types of knowing, 6 means of knowing. Okay. So let's take a look at all the 6 means. Okay. So the very first is called as Pratyaksha Pramana. Okay. Pratyaksha Pramana is direct means of knowing. So so for example, I see something with my eyes. It's a direct means of knowing. I heard about something, so it is a means of knowing. So my listening, my touch, okay, some things I can know how soft or how hard is it by touching something, okay, or in how good, like how sweet or how sour a fruit is by tasting, okay. What kind of smell it is, like good smell or bad smell, is based on gandha. So that means that, like, based on my 5 sensory perceptions, whatever I know, those are called pratyaksha pramana. Okay. Now, how many of us have seen self? Or heard self, not hearing about self, but heard self. Okay. So when we look at all these five sensory perceptions, none of these 5 sensory perceptions have experienced self ever. So we don't have pratyaksha pramana for self. Okay. So that's the first one. Now the second one is called as anumana pramana. Okay. So the first means was actually like the most direct means, and we said that self is not subject to any of those. So you cannot know self through any of those 5 means, 5 sensory perceptions. Now, Anumana Pramana means it is based on a conclusion, like a derivation. If you say, there is a smoke, right? It means that there must be fire. So the moment you saw a smoke, you came to a conclusion that there is fire, right? So this is an inference, right? This is like knowing by inference is called as Anumana Pramana. So like you can think about like several examples, right? If day after elections, okay, Fox News is celebrating, who must have won? Republicans must have won. Okay, or maybe MSNBC is celebrating, oh, that means Democrats must have won, right? So what happened is that this is an example of Anumana Pramana. Oh, okay, so this one is what? So, okay, that's okay. So this is, but now this in Anumana Pramana, what happens is that there are 2 things. One, so in this case, what happened is that in the example of smoke and fire, the existence of fire is proved by the existence of smoke. Okay. Now, when it comes to Brahman, there is nothing other than Brahman. If there is nothing other than Brahman, how can we prove that Brahman exists through this kind of inferential logic? So inferential logic is not possible to prove the existence of Brahman. Now, then there another way of explaining something is upamana pramana, means like knowing something is like upamana is by using an analogy or a simile, okay, which means that there's similarity. So what is it, right? I mean, you think about I'm just thinking about an example, right? So for example, like let us say there is if I say if I tell someone, I had Badshah sweet, okay, like to Westerner, I say, oh, I don't know what it is. How are we going to explain? Oh, first of all, it is a sweet. Okay, it is round. You see the donut. Okay, it is like, think about it as a small size, mini size donut. No, not mini donut, but like a donut with no hole. Okay, but is little more sweeter. So now what you're doing is that there is already an object, and you're comparing two objects to get someone closer to this knowledge of a new thing based on things that they already know, based on the similarities, right? So this is upamana. Now this upamana, now for us to know Brahman, what is something other that is like Brahman? There's Brahman is one of a kind, and there's nothing like Brahman at all. So upamana pramana also fails in learning about Brahman. Then there's another kind of pramana where you can actually learn some things. This is called arthapatti. It's kind of an interesting. Okay. And arthapatti pramana means it is a postulation based on incongruency. So in India, like they do Nirahara Diksha, right? Nirahara Diksha means, when we are like someone like a political party is fighting the ruling party, what they do is that, on this particular issue, until this issue is solved, I am going to fast. Okay, so that's what they do once in a while. You probably have seen actually, like the Andhra Pradesh state was formed because a person did Nirahara Diksha, the fasting, and he died while fasting, and because of which the whole fights happened, and so Andhra Pradesh, the joint Andhra Pradesh happened back in the early 50s or so. So now let us say someone is doing fasting like that, okay, on a cause. Okay, he said like, I'm going to die or until this issue is resolved. Okay, I'm going to fast. Now 1 week passed, 10 days passed. He looks as healthy as on day one. Okay, so he is not eating, but he looks as healthy as on day one, even on day 10 and day 14. What does that mean? He may not be eating in front of public. He must be eating in private. Okay, so this is what happened is that here you made an inference based on what is supposed to be versus what is. Okay, so this is something that we always do, especially like whenever we are gossiping about our friends, right? He said something like that, but I don't think that is the case. It happened because I think this must have happened. Why? Because I'll tell you why. He said this, but this is what he did, which is kind of opposite to what he said. Hence, my conclusion or my derivation. So this is what we call as arthapatti. Now, for us, if Brahman, can we learn about Brahman through this arthapatti? It means that, first of all, Brahman must be a subject. Okay, subject to learn. Brahman, which is not a subject. Brahman is not a Vishaya. Let me rephrase. Sorry, I used the wrong word. Brahman is not an object. Okay, so, and there is no incongruency in Brahman, because of which we can come to a conclusion. So, arthapatti pramana also fails. Okay. Then another pramana is called as, this is the fifth one, Anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi is you come to a conclusion based on non-perception. We come to a conclusion based on non-perception. What does that mean is that we all came into Zoom call today, right? Okay, pretty much all of us are on video. So in the absence, right, by looking at this, by looking at who are all in the video, we are coming to a conclusion of who are all not in the class, in the session today. Right? Oh, Rabi is not here today. Heather is not here today. Bimalji is not here. Chanji is not here. So we came to all of Sanjay ji is not here. So we came to all these conclusions based on their absence. Okay. So their non-existence in this session helped us figure out that they exist. Right? They exist. I mean, we came to know, we came to perceive each of these people based on their absence. So this is what they call as Anupalabdhi. Okay. So that is revealing the absence of an object. Now, Brahman, if it has to be absent, right? In the previous shloka itself, we studied that Brahman is Sat and not Abhava. Na sato vidyato bhavaha na bhava. Right? So when we said Brahman is not Abhava, meaning Brahman is not absent. Okay? He's always present, he's always everywhere. So in that case, this Anupalabdhi Pramana is also not possible to explain this. Now, when we study these 6 types of Pramanas, the first being Pratyaksha, second is Anumana, third is Upamana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi. The last one is called a Shabda Pramana. Okay. Now, what is Shabda Pramana is an interesting. In terms of spirituality, Shabda Pramana refers to Veda. Shabda means word or sound, because Vedas were initially given as sound, not as written form. So Shabda means Veda. So Shabda Pramana means Veda Pramana, meaning like Vedas being the authority. Now, Vedas being authority, can we say that Brahman exists, Brahman doesn't exist? How does it matter? Now, think about this. Even in our day-to-day life, in our Vyavaharika or transactional world, we rely on Shabda Pramana 99% of the time. So it's kind of like hard to believe. But think about this, right? How many of you, is there a war going on in Ukraine? Yes? Okay. How many of you seen the war in Ukraine? None of us have seen the war. But we have seen the videos of them, we have seen, but like none of them are direct experience. Okay, so we have seen videos, we heard the news, etc. So what happened is that whatever form that news has come to us, we believed in them. So that is a Shabda Pramana. We believed in the word. Okay, so similarly, last month 300,000 jobs were added into the market. Did we go and count how many jobs were actually added? No, we just believed it. And based on that belief, there are repercussions, not repercussions meaning like, there are implications, right? Those implications could be like somebody, like either stock market is going up or down based on the expectation versus how many jobs were added, etc. Right? So all of these things in our life are happening based on what we heard or what we have seen, what we have I mean, like seen means like indirectly, as in like news, right? Even in news, they only show something else, something else. But basically everything is based on what we heard. We are taking it for granted. Like even like, so for example, force equals mass into acceleration. Simple theorem we studied in our elementary school or middle school. Did we actually like test it out and proved? No. As in like individually, we don't have the direct perception or direct experience of that F equals ma. However, we believe it. So like that, this Shabda Pramana is very prevalent in our day-to-day life everywhere. In the same way, when it comes to Brahman or Vedas reveal two things. Vedas teach us Dharma and Brahma, meaning Dharma means what to do and what not to do and how to live our life, and the other is how to get liberated. These are the two areas of expertise or domain expertise of Veda. So now the question is that even though it is a trustworthy source, now many times, I won't call many times, I used to think that Shabda Pramana, we would learn about Brahman through Shabda Pramana, because Upanishads are telling this way, this is how Brahman is, that's how Brahman is, right? Brahman is everywhere, etc., right? But the reality is that they are also not revealing what Brahman is. Okay, what they are telling us is that these are some of the characteristics of Brahman, but this is not Brahman, and they are helping our mind to become so subtle that in such a manner that if you say, imagine an elephant. Can you all imagine an elephant? Yes, all of us can imagine an elephant, how it looks like, etc. Now, after attending our, studying Vedanta for many of us for at least 20 years, we say, imagine Brahman. Okay, is a form coming in our mind? If a form is coming in our mind, then we are not progressing. Right? The goal is that understand that Brahman cannot be objectified. Brahman cannot be understood. Understood as in, because like, like our mind and understanding is a factor of our combination of our mind and intellect. Brahman is beyond the capability of mind and intellect. So that is what like this Vedanta is telling us. And once we get to that, slowly we what is the term? We supersede mind and intellect, and we have a direct experience of Brahman. Okay, so this direct experience is there's a term called aparoksha anubhuti. Now, why aparoksha anubhuti? It's kind of like a so aparoksha, when you translate it in English, it is non-indirect experience. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. We said pratyaksha, right? Pratyaksha is direct. Okay, so pratyaksha is based upon prati aksha. Aksha means eyes. Okay, paroksha is based on others' eyes. Okay, so for example, I have seen today I went to temple and I have seen the priest was arguing with a devotee. Okay, so this is my direct experience. Okay. No, priest was not arguing with anyone. I didn't go to temple. This is just making up, right? So this is my direct experience. Now, I came and told you that priest was arguing with so-and-so devotee. When I say that, what happened is that you did not see it, but you have seen it through someone else's eyes. This is called para. Para means others' eyes. paroksha. Okay. Now, because this experience of Brahman is beyond eyes, right? So it cannot be pratyaksha. At the same time, it cannot be paroksha also. It cannot be by others' eyes also, indirect also. But it is opposite to paroksha. Okay, because it is opposite to paroksha, they said aparoksha. So this is kind of like so Sanskritam has like a little bit of a interesting word play like this. Now the question is that, hey, the big question that comes is, how do you say, oh, transcend, if mind and intellect are the only means of knowing, and you are asking transcend mind and intellect and experience it? How is that experience possible? This is some kind of a makeup stuff. Okay, this is so this is a question that may come. Now the thing is that if you think about everything in this universe, that in the visible universe that we see or whatever, all of them are experienced through our pancha indriyas, right? Pancha jnanendriyas, like five senses of five organs of senses, right? So that now despite all our experiences from the time of our birth, all our experiences are based on these five senses. When it comes to thoughts and feelings and emotions, do any of those thoughts or feelings or emotions being experienced through these five senses? Did you get the question?
What was the question? Sorry.
Despite from the time of my birth, all my experiences are based on are coming through my five sensory perceptions. Combination of them sometimes, but like five sensory perceptions. There's no six, right? Now, how can, given that, now how is that none of my thoughts or feelings or emotions are experienced by these five sensory perceptions?
But these five communicate with the mind and the intellect, right? It is the mind and the intellect.
Yeah. So they communicated to mind and intellect, yes. But now, where did these thoughts and emotions come from if they did not come through my five organs of senses? If they did not come from my pancha jnanendriyas, where did they come from?
So I just want to make a comment, perhaps in a roundabout way, going and looking back at the Jagadashi Viveka, that the Indriyas are being enlightened or enlivened by mind. Mind is enlivened by the Sakshi. So that's the progression, is how it's being explained now. How would you put it, though?
Okay, yeah. So you're absolutely correct, Atulji. Is that what is happening is that when, like, I mean, like when I look at myself as a human body alone and think that, okay, only whatever I see is true, right? Then when I compare that, my experiences of the physical world with respect to my mind and intellect, this mind and intellect have transcended these five senses. Agree?
Yeah.
So just like how mind and intellect have transcended over these five senses and my body, my physical body and the physical universe. In the same way, what our scriptures are saying is that you can transcend this mind and intellect also and go one level higher by dropping this mind and intellect. So that is where what you are coming through is that so I am going from bottom up, right? You're coming from top down, like in Drupdrishya Viveka, where Sakshi, Chidabhasa has given the strength to Antakarna first. From Antakarna, it came to the body. So that's why Antakarna is the closer one, and this one has secondary level of yeah. So that's why my point is that try to, when we study all of this, two takeaways when we hear about Aprameya. The two primary takeaways is Brahman cannot be understood by our five senses or mind and intellect. Okay. At the same time, Brahman exists. Okay, Brahman is not made up stuff. Okay, and yet it cannot be measured in any manner. Okay, so this is the importance of the word Aprameya. Okay, so Brahman is Aprameya. So that's why what Upanishads, etc., like when they say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, right? So basically, mind is limited. Anantam means like mind is limited. So knowledge, because mind itself is limited, like mind or intellect itself is limited, the knowledge or their capability is also limited. They cannot understand what is infinite. Okay. So that's what it is. So that's where that's where the Aprameya. Then the other word that is used is.
So I have a question. You mentioned an extremely important word, aparoksha, with the aparoksha jnana. And so another loose English meaning is immediate, right? Aparoksha means immediate. Gnanam, it's not, as you correctly mentioned, not dependent. It that transcends the sensory perceptions, the mind, intellect, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whereas cognitively one understand what the approach is, but an approach anubhuti is something that can't be described or can't be. I mean, who have actually experienced approach anubhuti is, and the fact is that those who have approach anubhuti probably will not admit or won't say that they have, because if they do, then they haven't, in a strange way. And you mentioned about the Brahman being can be paroksha or pratyaksha.
Yeah, I mean, Brahman cannot be understood through any of the six. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But it is considered to be Shakshat Aparoksh Brahman Bantar. And that's easy to say all those things, but I just don't get that from the practical perspective. But that's that.
Practical perspective
as to how do I conceptualize, if it's at all possible, Aparoksh Anubhuti,
How can you? Yeah, that's why I've said that going through all of this is because there is a possibility that we can misunderstand as that. Okay, I mean, actually, it's not a possibility of misunderstanding. Yeah, back home in India, communists, etc., they do say this, right? Oh, okay. So they came with this concept of Brahman and saying that, oh, okay, it is all powerful, all great, all everything, but you cannot experience in any manner, but it still exists. Okay, what kind of thing is that? That's what they actually say that, right? So which is right, okay? Because which is right, because if you don't understand, we should question that. Okay, so that questioning is important. So that is why we are saying is that there is, first of all, that's why I was giving the example of this five senses. We cannot experience, like five senses cannot experience these emotions. But when we transcended the five senses, and when we are at the mind and intellect level, we are experiencing those emotions. Okay. Anything that I see in this world is real. Anything that is invisible is unreal. Okay. So if we go with that perception, right, with that statement, then what happened is that, what about my feelings and emotions? Those are not visible. I cannot see my emotions or my feelings or my thoughts. So are they real or not real?
Good question.
Those are real. Okay. Say for example, I say like, Atulji, you have hurt my feelings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I say something like that,
Yeah.
is there any way to prove or disprove that statement? There's no way, right?
Yeah.
So now, but on the other hand, those feelings are true and those emotions are true and those are experienced by my mind and intellect, right? And this is a given thing. If that is a given thing, where because of the limitations of the sensory perceptions, okay, we go to one level high, and then there are like a higher level of experiences or higher level of truth is there. Why can't there be another level of higher level of truth, which is which goes beyond this defective mind and intellect? Now I use the word defective mind and intellect, right? So when I use this word defective mind intellect, like, you should feel bad. Okay. Venkat, your mind may be defective or your intellect may be defective. Why are you calling my mind defective? Right? So now the question is this. Now, in this session, when we are chatting around this, the same words are going through 1, 2, 3, 4 other screens, right? To 4 other laptops, right? And in on one screen, 2 of you are there. So 5 people are there. Same words are going into 5 people's heads. Do you think that they have the identical impact on all of them?
No.
No, right? So now that means that I'm not saying one is right or one other is wrong. In which case, whose understanding is correct and whose impact is correct and whose impact is not correct?
Tough to judge. Yeah.
So one talk, okay, one person is talking, 5 people are listening, and 5 people are interpreting in it 5 different ways. Whose interpretation is correct? Is it all like, even if like one person's interpretation is also correct even? It's a different question if the speaker is right or not wrong. That's a different question altogether. But so then what happened is that if our mind and intellect are one and the same, as in like not defective, then everybody should understand in the same way, right? However, not everybody is understanding in the same way. It itself shows that there are certain changes, right? There are certain in terms of fine tuning, different things are in different ways in different minds, different intellects. So when these instruments are not finely tuned, then how can you get to exact answer? So those instruments that are not finely tuned have to be removed, and you have to take a direct approach. So for example, sometimes what happens is that a simplified example I can give you is, now let us say you bought a new telescope, okay? And actually I bought a telescope about 3 years ago. I haven't set it up yet, okay? Because the thing is that like that requires a lot of proper understanding, proper knowledge, and like, where you set it up, how to set it up. Is it looking at pointing to the whole thing, right? So a lot of fine tuning is required. Now I got the telescope. I'm trying to see something, okay? And whatever configuration I'm trying to do, it's like it's all messed up. So I am unable to see anything. So in that case, what I need to do is that I just throw the telescope and at least see directly, right? Whether it is a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse or whatever, right? So in some cases, at least that is better than using a defective instrument. So because our mind and intellect are defective, we need to go beyond that. So now when the question has come, I don't see, like as Atul, you said, right? I mean, your question is not very, I mean, I'm not trying to bust your bubble or something. It is not a unique question, right? But that question is there for everybody, all of us. Hey, I hear all of this, but I can't see it. It doesn't seem practical. So there, when that question comes, right? So that is why why is that question coming, and where is that question coming? That question is coming from within the realm of mind and intellect. Okay, and what is the scripture saying? Remove that mind and intellect. When you remove that mind and intellect, that question also will go away. Okay.
True.
So now then, I know from a Bhagavad Gita perspective, we may not be like moving too like too fast, but understand this, because completing Gita is secondary, because we have completed Gita in the past. Okay, but have little bit like total understanding, right? So that's why, right? So now then the other word is anashinaha is another word that was used. Aprameya is one word and anashinaha is another word. So nashina means nashina means destruction. Anashina means no destruction. Okay, so destruction means what? Like, you can see in different ways. One is, it is called satta adarshana, meaning what it is I was experiencing it so until now I don't experience it. Yeah, so that is one form of destruction. Now Brahman is the definition of Brahman is Sat is one word to explain Brahman, right? Sat means one that is true in all three periods of time, right? And it is beyond time. So its presence was there until now and it is not there now. That is not a possibility. Okay, hence it cannot be destroyed. Now then the other thing is that I was seeing it this much, and now it is broken into small pieces and it's only this much. Okay, so that means that it is limited. Okay, it is being limited and paricheda. Okay, so but then Brahman, we said it is infinite and it is all over. So there is, and it can, nothing can be cut or anything like that. Okay, it cannot be cut or anything like that. So that way also destruction is not possible. Then something is destroyed means it is absent. Okay, complete negation, and it is not. It cannot be negated. Brahman cannot be negated either. So as a result, it cannot be destroyed. So that means it is anashinaha. Brahman is anashinaha. Then nityaha. Nityaha means forever. So forever means, what does that mean? It doesn't have death. So whatever is born has death. So if it is forever, that means that it doesn't have a birth also. Because it doesn't have a birth, it doesn't have a death. Okay, so that is why it is nitya. Okay, so now, so we saw in the shloka, right? Okay, if you just to quickly review so far, the shloka said, Antavanta ime deha, all these bodies are going to be destroyed. Nitya syokta shariranaha, meaning the self is going to is nitya, means forever. Anashinaha, aprameya. Okay, so it is anashina, it is aprameya. We saw the meaning. Now here is the twist of it. Tasmat yudhvasva. Therefore you fight. Okay, so what is that Tasmat Yuddhasva Bharata? Of course, Arjuna, therefore you should fight. What does this mean? What is the relationship between what has been said so far and suddenly Lord Krishna turning gay? I mean, like, I don't know, it's almost like a car is going in this direction, suddenly like car went this way. Right?
So Lord Krishna is saying to Arjuna, first of all, do your karma. Second of all, so far Arjuna is deluded. He thinks dharma to be adharma, and what is adharma to be dharma. In other words, his dharma is to fight, but he calls it adharma because he knows that he's will be just as the killer of all these rishis and all this Duryodhana, I mean the Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama. That's where Bhagwan comes in and says, all these shariras are the one that's going to die, but the Atma is going to remain Nitya Vinashi. So therefore, what you're doing is maintaining. So Yuddha, so fight means perform your dharma duties.
Okay. So, thank you, Atulji. You are right, actually. The interesting thing is that there are two aspects, right? One is that why, as you rightly put, Atulji, the Arjuna was worried that if it is the right thing to fight or not, right? Because on the other side there is Bhishma and Drona. There are Bhishma and Drona who are his grandfather and teachers, etc. are there, and relatives are there. So is it right thing or not? So that is what he's asking. Tell me what is the right thing to do. Tell me what tell me what is absolute good for me. That's what he asked. Okay, so the word that is that Nishreyasaha. That is a word that was used by Arjuna. Nishreyasa means absolute good. Okay, absolute good. That is what you need to teach. Now, here, what Bhagwan is telling is that one, because these shariras are going to go away anyway, these bodies, however, the self is going to be there all the time. And you have Shastra's permission to go do your duty. Okay, that is message number one. Now there is a pitfall in this. There's a potential pitfall in this messaging. Okay. Now, because Bhagwan has told Arjuna, do your duty, many times, a lot of people think that Bhagavad Gita is about asking us to do our duty. It is a karma. Okay, it is asking us to do karma all the time. Okay, but Bhagavad Gita, on the other hand, it is Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya means it is giving us the knowledge of Brahman. So it is not like merely giving do your duty, but it is trying to give something more. Okay, so it is like this. We have this session today, okay, from 7:30 to 9 p.m. Okay, we talked about a lot of things. At the end of this session, of course we do Purnamada Purnamidam and close, and then what we say is that, hey, see you all 2 weeks from now. Right? When we say see you all 2 weeks from now, that is our final word. Those are pretty much our final words when we close the call. Okay. Now, is that the final message? Is that the conclusion or the essence of our talk? No. Okay. So that is not our final message. The final message is whatever we talked about. So here, what Bhagwan is, because Arjuna said the problems of Arjuna are like the deep-rooted problems of Arjuna is Shoka and Moha, meaning sorrow and the delusion that came out of that sorrow. These are the two problems that Arjuna has. So now, because of that Shoka and Moha, he is unable to move forward. Now, when this knowledge of Brahma is given to Arjuna, what happens that, oh, okay, so these shariras are going to fall, even if you take this particular shloka alone, right? These shariras are going to fall, but the self is one and the same, and it is going to be there forever. Hence, you do your duty means what? Okay, you can do your duty because your Shoka and Moha is gone. Okay, this is not the message. Okay, the removal of here, Lord Krishna is assuming that the Shoka and Moha of Arjuna is somewhat subsided by now, and then as a result of that, he can do the duty. That is one important thing. Okay. Now, one of the things that is told is that when did this teaching happen? Okay, in the war. Okay. Now, if you remember the first chapter, the war began with Bhishma blowing the conch. When Bhishma blew the conch, everybody on Kaurava side blew the conches, and they started like getting ready. And then on the Pandava side, Krishna and Arjuna blew the conches, and like Pandava side also blew the conches. So that means that they're all getting ready. And at that time, Arjuna said, okay, the first arrow or the first weapon is about to be discharged. That is when Arjuna asked Krishna that, oh, I want to go see who am I going to fight with. Please take me to the front lines. That's what he said. And then when he saw all of this, suddenly he developed cold feet. When that happened, Krishna gave the rest of Bhagavad Gita, which is Bhagavad Gita, entire Bhagavad Gita is about 700 verses. Okay. And if you take out first 40 verses or something like that from first chapter, we'll still have 650 plus verses. Now, to chant 650 verses in a Q&A format, it is going to take hours. Okay. So it is said that in Gita Dhyana Shlokas, it is said that whatever Lord Bhagwan Krishna has to give to Arjuna, he has given in a much simpler format. However, the essence of that is expanded by Vyasa Mahamuni and put it in Bhagavad Gita. That is what it is said. Okay. So here, when why am I saying this one is that when he said, do your duty, oh, then Arjuna could have done his duty immediately. Right? In which case, there is no more Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So where did all of this come, etc.? Right? Those kind of questions may come. So this is what it is said. Okay. So the takeaways again is Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Jnana. Okay, so it gives Brahma Jnana. Because it is giving Brahma Jnana, the message is not do your duty, rather it is the removal of Shoka and Moha. Okay. So we'll go to the next verse. Verse number 19. Anyone wants to chant? Any volunteer?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Others get a chance.
Okay. So anyone else? Okay,
I
Hinaji.
can I
Okay.
can do.
Okay, Hinaji. Okay, so ya enam veti hantaram.
Ya ena veti hantaram
Yeah. Yaschaina manyate hatam.
yaschena manyate hatam
Ubhau tau na vijanitaha.
ubhau to na vijanito
Nayam hanti na hanyate.
nayam hanti na hanyate.
So here, now this verse, again, one of the things is that we also say that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads, right? Did you hear the saying that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads before? Okay. Now, why is it that said that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads? Is because there are so many verses that came from different Upanishads. This is one of those verses which came from Kathopanishad with a very slight variation. So, what does that mean? Lord Krishna has copied from Vedas and told it as his own stuff. Okay. So the idea is that Vedas came from Bhagwan, Bhagavad Gita also came from Bhagwan. So whether it came from this way or that way, it doesn't matter. That's number one. Second is that even in, like you all studied Bhagavad Gita before, and in chapter 4, he says that I have given this knowledge to Manyu, Surya Bhagavan, etc. And that knowledge was passed on, but it was all forgotten. So I came back to give this knowledge once again. So the same knowledge that he has given before, he is giving it again. It is as if the same class is taught in the next semester. Okay, so it is like that. So this particular verse is resembles another verse from Katha Upanishad. So it says Yaha. Okay, Yaha means whoever. Okay, that whoever that person is, Ya Enam, right? So when it is broken, Yaha comes. Okay, Enam Hantaram Veti. Okay, Hantaram. Hantaram means I am the killer. Okay, Veti means thinking. Okay, so someone is thinking that, oh, I am the killer. When you say I am the killer, what does it mean? I am the killer means Brahman is aprameya. Aprameya means which is immeasurable. Okay. I am really that dehin, meaning I am the indweller of this body, not this body. Okay. So me, the self, how can I be a killer? What is there to kill and what is there to be killed? Other than Brahman, me as self, there's only one self and there's nothing other than the self. So there's no such thing as killing or being killed. Okay. Now, Arjuna, in case of Arjuna, Arjuna is considering himself as the killer because he's going to kill the people. Okay. So in our case, we may not be killing, right? In that case, for Arjuna's duty is to fight in the war. In our case, whatever work we are doing, what we are thinking, we are the doer. Okay, we are the doer. Okay, aham karta, like I am the doer. That kind of a thought is there. So whoever thinks that I am the doer for whatever things that have been done by us, right? So all of that is foolishness. That is the message that is coming in pretty soon. Okay, so yenam hantaram veti means whoever thinks that he is a karta, basically karta means doer. He is basically superimposing that action on the self. Okay. So, or who is the killer is one part, and yaha cha yenam manyate hatam, meaning one who considers, oh, I am being killed. Okay, so that means that he is the karma of the action of kill, meaning how do I say? One is the doer. Say, for example, Rama killed Ravana. If you take this simple sentence, Rama killed Ravana, Rama, of course, Rama is a Bhagwan, that's a different story. For now, okay, if you think about Rama as a human being, Rama is thinking that he is the killer. Ravana is thinking that he is killed. Okay, or is about to be killed, because after killing, there is no thought, right? Okay, Ravana is thinking that I'm about to be killed. Both of these thoughts, okay, that I am the doer or I am the subject of doing something, okay, ubhautav, okay, meaning both of these, okay, na vijanitaha, meaning don't know the truth. Neither of them know the truth. Why? Because ayam na hanti na hanyate, na ayam hanti na hanyate, means self cannot kill or can be killed. Self is free of action. Now, where are these actions coming from then? These actions are all coming from upadhi, from the point of upadhi. Did we? Okay, so now, what is upadhi? Do you know? So,
Example.
sorry?
Example. Upadhi.
Sharir.
Sorry.
Upadhi means very interesting word in so actually like in actually in Indian languages, like as in like colloquial Indian language, such as maybe even in Hindi and Telugu also, is that upadhi means a means of employment is also called as upadhi. But so you'll have a lot of upadhi yojanas, etc., like that in government plans, both in north also they are there in central government also, as well as in state government also. From state government in Andhra also, I recall the word upadhi. But in
Gujarati, upadhi means obstacles.
Upadhi means what?
Obstacles.
Obstacle. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So upadhi in Sanskritam means it comes from something like this: upasthite stitva, something else. Okay, so I don't recall the entire definition. So what happens is like this: take a crystal. Okay, take a crystal or a diamond, whatever. Like think about a crystal or a diamond. Now put it close to a red color light. Okay, what is the color of this crystal now?
Red.
Red. Now move it away from there. What is the color? Move it away from
Clear.
there. It is, sorry?
Clear.
Color.
Clear.
Okay. Now take it to closer to a blue light now. What is the color of crystal?
Blue. Blue.
Okay. So now think about this, right? So we said the color of the crystal was blue, then colorless, and then red, right? Now, what is the real color of crystal? What was the color of crystal in reality, whether it was in front of red light or blue light?
Colorless.
It is colorless, but because of the presence of another object close to it, the properties of this other object is superimposed on the crystal. Okay, the blueness in the light are superimposed on the crystal, and the crystal is thinking that I am blue. Okay, when the red light is there close to red light, the redness of that red color is superimposed on crystal. So this presence of the other equipment, okay, that red light or blue light close to crystal is making as if the crystal is of red color or blue color. Yes. But whether it is in the presence of red light, blue light, green light, yellow light, whichever color light you put, the color of crystal in reality is colorless, no matter how it appears. Okay. So the same idea. So this is what upadhi. So then what happens is this light, whether it's red light or green light or blue light or yellow light, this light is considered as upadhi for this crystal. Okay. So now, with respect to us, what is that crystal and what is that light?
So the Brahman is the crystal and the body is the light.
So Brahman is the crystal and the body is this one, right? So now Brahman is free from all colors, but the colors of being red or blue or green or yellow is from the point of view of upadhi. Agreed? Okay. So self, Brahman, is free of actions. All the actions, idea that, oh, I am the experiencer, I am the doer, I am the killer, I am the killed, I am happy today, I feel sorry today, right? All of these things are coming from the point of upadhi alone. Okay. So when Arjuna is thinking that I am the killer, it is not the self is the killer, rather the upadhi of Arjuna, which is that particular body and mind and intellect complex, that BMI complex, is thinking that it is superimposing the idea that, oh, there is something going to be killed. Okay. But the reality here is that that killing is done by upadhi to another upadhi. Both upadhis are superimposed, meaning both of them are mithya or maya. Okay. So that is why it is saying that this shloka, right? So if someone thinks that I am the doer or I am the experiencer, right? So understand that you don't know the truth, meaning I am neither the doer nor the experiencer. I am neither karta nor bhokta. So get rid of kartrutva bhavana and bhoktrutva bhavana. Okay. That is the essence of this shloka. I know I have 15 more minutes, but I want to stop here and open up for any questions instead of starting a new one. Like I think like I might have fried some of the brains today. So, not that's you can't take serious topics. It is just that I was thinking like, okay, maybe I should stop now and check. So,
But this is a very unique discussion, unique approach to learning Bhagavad Gita, because that's the essence of Bhagavad Gita, as you mentioned, Karma Yoga and Brahma Jnana.
yeah. So I mean, like this is something that like the way I'm just going. I'm actually like I'm just repeating whatever my teachers told us. So there's nothing new. Probably a couple of examples here and there are my own, but otherwise it's pretty much same. Everything is whatever my our teachers told. So. So with that said, like any questions or comments or anything that we need to talk about, like if is there anything that need like more detailed explanation? Shobhaj, if you're saying something, you're on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
Okay. The doership, get rid of doership and what?
Kartrutva, bhoktrutva bhavana.
Bhoktrutva.
Kartrutva bhavana, bhoktrutva bhavana.
Okay.
So kartrutva is that I am doer.
Doer.
When I do something, I get a result. That experiencing those results, whether usually like bhoktrutva is translated into English as enjoyership. Okay, but that may be an enjoyment, that could be a pain, suffering, we don't know, right? So both that experience being I am the experiencer or I am the doer, both should be taken off.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lot to assimilate.
That's why I wanted to stop. So, welcome back, Atulji and Varshaji. Yeah, you need to unmute yourself. You're on mute if you have a question.
Oh, okay.
I think we are kind of done, right? Unless if you don't have any questions, we can close now.
No, I think excellent session, and enjoyed it.
Thank you. So 2 weeks from now is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So do we want to meet the week after Thanksgiving, the Thursday after Thanksgiving, or just do 2 weeks after that?
Yeah, I won't be able to attend if we do keep it, just to let you know.
Can we do it next week?
Next week, Swami Shantanandaji will be in town.
Oh, right.
I won't.
Yeah, otherwise it will be too long a gap, almost a month, right?
Yeah, it will be 4 weeks from now. So the question is that should we do after 3 weeks, which is November 30th or December 7th, whichever you want to, I can do.
November 30th, we should be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
We are fine.
And November 30th, we are fine.
30th works for me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shardaji, you good?
30th is fine.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So, hey, like I was thinking about it when I was saying it, that hey, we'll see you in 2 weeks. That's how we usually end. This time we are going to end saying we'll see you in 3 weeks. Okay. We'll close then.
Okay.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
So Venkat, you will pick it up. You will pick it up from where we left today, right?
That's what I want to know. Why did you ask that question?
He's going to jump the whole chapter.
I just wanted people to smile and laugh. That's all. It was very, very silly and obvious, not obvious, but silly question.
You must have good reason behind it.
No,
it only shows how much you enjoyed it today.
That's right.
Right?
I just want to make sure we don't want to break the thread, but
No, we won't skip any shlokas now.
we will not bury slokas. Take them.
It's very difficult to have, karta or bhoktutva, kartutva, to get rid of that is very difficult because we are in the Vyavaharik world. And we try sometimes, but it comes back, you know.
I mean, the good thing about the interesting thing about chapter 2 is that it is the essence of everything, right? Entire Bhagavad Gita is being presented right up front, right? So how do we say? Even in West nowadays, we have a saying. The mark of a good teacher is tell what you are going to tell that, and tell what you just told. Did you hear that? Yes. Okay. So chapter 2 is Bhagwan is telling what he's going to teach Arjuna, meaning he is summarizing entire thing what he is going to teach in the rest of the chapters. Chapter 18 is the conclusion. Again, what he has just told, everything is summarized in chapter 18. The actual message is taught between chapter 3 and 15. Chapter 3 and 15 is where like the actual message is taught. 16 and 17 are kind of like a appendix, like to clear out some questions.
Yeah.
But chapter 2 is an introduction and chapter 18 is conclusion. Okay, because of that, the abstract message is there, so that's why it is full packed, power packed.
Power pack, yes.
Yeah, from this sloka 19, I would not have concluded that it means I am neither karta or bhokta. I mean, although we've heard that from somewhere else, but somehow I didn't relate to it until you mentioned, you
Okay.
know. Yeah. So, thanks.
Everybody have a happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to
Happy
everyone.
Diwali.
Yeah.
Same here. Thank you.
Gujarati, Happy New Year too.
Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year. To when is that? Like Tuesday, Monday, right?
Monday, yes.
Monday.
Monday is Happy New Year. Yes.
But that's just the Gujarati Happy New Year, right? Not everybody's Happy New Year.
Only Gujaratis all over at least within India, only Gujaratis celebrate New Year.
Yeah, we have it, Gujaratis and North Indians. Our New Year starts during Ugadi time.
Yeah.
What is Ugadi?
March. Ugadi is
Ugadi
New
is Navre.
Gudi Padwa.
You mean Navratri?
No, Gudi Padwa.
Oh, Gudi Padwa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So basically,
that's our New Year.
basically like our country, a majority of our country celebrates lunar new year in spring, and some states, the good amount of states celebrate solar new year in the same month, in spring. So that means like, so for example, think about Punjabis, what do they do? Baisakhi, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so those, and for Tamilians, they do Varsha Paruku, like that. Basically, all of them do. For them, it is a fixed one. April 14th is their New Year.
Yeah.
Ours is also Ashad Dvitiya. So it comes around in April.
Ah, which part of that?
That is Kachi New Year.
Okay. Ashada is in
Down south
July,
also.
right? June, July, right? Ashada comes in
Ashada-
It's more, yeah, perhaps. Yes.
July.
July through August, usually 15th of July through August 15th. So
Oh.
during that month, no festive, okay, and I mean, I'm not able to get the word. We don't celebrate anything auspicious during that 1 month period.
Oh.
July 15th through August 15th,
Yeah.
no wedding, no nothing is celebrated.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, Ashada Masa, like at that time, like at least in our tradition, immediately after the first year of the wedding, the bride should go back to home during the month of Ashada. She cannot be in in-laws place.
yeah.
Oh,
Something.
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. South Indians do that. We all do that.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
A chance for the daughter-in-law to go back to her mother's place, in other words.
Any excuses?
Get rid of, to help with homesickness, I guess.
They've thought about everything, our custom has
Yeah.
thought of everything.
And put a name for that. Oh, this month, that month, or this or that.
Right.
Okay. Shubhratri.
Okay, have a good night, everyone. Hari Om.
Thank you. Purnamada, we
We
did?
did? Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.